I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, please go to the book of Matthew, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 17th lesson in our study of Matthew. Yesterday we studied Matthew chapter 5, verses 7 and 8, discussing the 5th and 6th Beatitudes. If you missed that episode, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on multiple platforms by going to one of the different sites listed on the bottom of the screen. Today we're going to read Matthew chapter 5, verse 1 and go through verse 12 so that we can get the context, but we'll actually begin our discussion at verse 9. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the New King James Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Matthew chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. And seeing the multitudes, he went up on a mountain, and when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. In this chapter, and going all the way through the end of chapter 7, we have Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. He begins his sermon with 9 Beatitudes, meaning 9 ways that you can be exaltedly happy. We determined that Jesus wasn't talking about 9 different people here, but one person, the type of person who would follow after him. We've already discussed the first 6 Beatitudes, so for further analysis of those, we refer you back to lessons 14, 15, and 16. The 7th Beatitude is, Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Being a peacemaker is being a person who sets out to make peace, a person who tries to prevent contention, strife, and war. Some people like conflict, for they think that that is how you show that you are strong, and that's how you can get results. That should not generally be the attitude of a Christian. Now, that does not mean that conflict will always be avoided, but it does mean that Christians shouldn't seek out conflict and should certainly try to diffuse conflict whenever possible. Christians are to be a peaceful people, so that we can teach others the message of Christ. What is the reward of a peacemaker? They will be called the sons of God. In 1 John 3, verse 10, we read, In this the children of God and the children of the devil are manifest. Whoever does not practice righteousness is not of God, nor is he who does not love his brother. We cannot love our brother and be called children of God if we are always at war with him. If, however, we practice peacemaking, we will not only show our love for our brother, but we will show our love for God as well, because we will be obeying his will. The 8th Beatitude is, Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Persecution is being mistreated for holding a certain belief or ideal. It can take many different forms, such as physical persecution, verbal persecution, psychological persecution, monetary persecution, etc. In order for someone to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, however, one must be righteous before God. In other words, just because we suffer persecution does not necessarily mean that we're a Christian. We actually have had to obey God according to the Scriptures. Now, ultimately, nobody likes to be persecuted, for in general, men and women like to be loved and accepted. However, Jesus said that we should be happy if we are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Why? Well, Peter gives us a hint in 1 Peter 4:14-16, which reads, If you are reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you, for the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. On their part he is blasphemed, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, an evildoer, or as a busybody in other people's matters. Yet if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, and let him glorify God in this matter. Being a Christian means you're going to live a different lifestyle than that of the world. You will talk differently, act differently, and have a habit of telling others that they should want to change and be Christians as well. People don't like being told that they're wrong and need to change, so the natural reaction would be to attack the messenger and the message as well. Peter said that we should not be ashamed of persecution, but glorify God that we have been found worthy to suffer for the name of Christ. What is the reward of those who suffer persecution for righteousness' sake? Theirs will be the kingdom of heaven. They will be members of Christ's church and be rewarded with heaven. Since only Christians will be going to heaven, that's how we can know that this persecution is talking only about Christians. We'll conclude the Beatitudes, the Lord willing, tomorrow. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Matthew, beginning with Matthew 5:11.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have a question or comment, please leave it below or email it to answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, Lord's willing, tomorrow when we will be continuing on our study in the book of Matthew. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend